If it's not on, it's obviously not gonna work. And I go, okay, how are we gonna troubleshoot this? It could be something very simple, but listen, if you call out an RV tech and it's because your propane is off, you're gonna feel pretty stupid. That's easy money. I would love to be in a tech and shop something like that, because there's a whole bunch of valves in there and 6 months later, you're not gonna know what's going on. How do I know? Because it's happened to us, right?
Izzy's freaking out. So you're out on the road, something is not working on your RV. In today's video, we're gonna give you a checklist of common RV problems and how to troubleshoot them. Number one is going to be generator issues. So let's go to the generator. Number one, a lot of times, is that you have a lack of oil, right? If there's not enough oil in your generator, it's not going to work.
That's a safety mechanism.
Absolutely. The next thing, speaking of liquids, is the fuel. You have to have enough fuel in your motorhome to have this thing work properly. After a quarter of a tank, it's not going to work. So when we go to campgrounds, we always fill up with fuel to make sure, God forbid, we don't have power or something, we're secure there. So the next thing, speaking of oil, please make sure you stay on top of your maintenance with the oil filters. Okay, that's really, really important to lengthen
air filter
the life.
Yeah.
Air filters, right. Another thing in extreme cases too, if you're completely off level, like extreme off level, that can affect this too, because it can actually change that oil level, right? I think that there's not enough oil in it. The last thing, if it's working but you're not getting power to the coach, it could be a breaker. A lot of people don't realize that you do have a breaker on your generator. So make sure that that hasn't tripped. Once that's on, again, these are very common issues that happen. A lot of times you fix one of these and the generator will work. Notice too, here's our little, Izzy labels everything to see when our next, service needs to be done. So we're really on top of that. So the next has to do with the propane heating system. So a couple major culprits it can be is not enough propane.
Duh.
A lot of times, right? People don't have enough propane, they're not getting heat, and that's why. Another thing can be, and we're not gonna open this up right now, but is a dirty gas burner assembly, all right? So we go in here and Izzy vacuums
through the
out.
back, you can go through the back end.
And he just found, a ton of spider webs and things like that. They like to build the nests and things like that in there. So that can definitely affect it. Two very big culprits are sail switch and high temperature limit switch. You can find a ton of videos out there on YouTube about this, but many times those two very simple things can cause issues. And a lot of times people will carry extras with them.
Very good idea.
Very, very important. So in case that happens, just a little note about these. These are what we call dauber screens. They can void the warranty. A lot of people don't know that, so just be aware of that.
What are they for?
To keep out more mud daubers or any type of insects or things that can
that
can go in there and start making a little home. All right, let's talk fridges now. So we have a residential fridge. We're going to talk a little residential and also RV fridge because it's very common. So we have a Whirlpool residential refrigerator.
You just put your fingerprints all over it.
I know. Izzy's freaking out. This is not the one it came with, okay? We did have to replace after like a year and a half or
no,
2
it was a little over a year.
Yeah.
Just out of warranty.
Just out, of course. The compressor went, and again, we had a lot of fun we did it ourselves, taking this off, getting the new one on. Tons of fun. Anyway, so with RV fridges and residential fridges, one problem that can happen if it's not cooling enough, it can be too full, way too full. So we have a lot of food in here right now, seems to be working okay, but definitely that's something you want to check for. It's a very simple fix that could help you out. The next thing on an RV fridge is that you have a thermistor that goes up and down in terms of temperature, right? Where you set it. A lot of times people will knock into that with food or whatever, and it can actually alter the temperature there. So always make sure that's where you want it. Good thing is a lot of manufacturers now are moving into the 12 volt arena. So we're seeing a lot more now of the fridges that are 12 volt.
Yeah, some other common problems for the residential, there's coils behind here. If they get dirty, they're gonna be as efficient. Another really common problem, and just kind of common sense. Sometimes, just go like this.
Yeah.
You see that right there?
Right.
Make sure that this is closed because you're
right.
going to have a hard time keeping temperature if it's not closed.
Right, and also in terms of the freezer, a lot of times we've done this and this pops open, the freezer pops open. So yeah, always.
So
make
a good
sure
idea is when you're not, you just put the lock on it, and now we know that it's good.
Exactly. If your RV fridge is not working at all, check your battery voltage. Make sure you check for blown fuses, and also if you have corroded terminals or like the circuit board connectors, a lot of times you can get to that from outside, and you can see there will be like you know, dirt or debris in there, that can definitely make an issue for you.
That's one thing Tiffin does really well. They give you access to the back of the refrigerator on all their motorhomes, which is
some
pretty cool.
It's really difficult
well,
to even
yeah,
get
like
to.
Neomar doesn't do that. We had to pull this whole thing out. Another thing, if you have a residential fridge, check the breaker. If there's no power, always check the breaker, always check the fuses.
If the fridge is working on electric but not propane, guess what you should check for?
Propane.
Yeah, make sure you have enough propane. Dirty burner assembly again, which we have mentioned outside, really, really important. Now, if it works on propane but not electric, what are you going to check for?
All your power sources. Yeah, so again, breaker, if it's plugged in, fuses, any batteries, anything that's going to give power to that unit, you're going to want to check. Now let's talk about one that's really important to a lot of RVers and it's just becoming more and more important. It's going to be your internet. Now we see this all the time, people complaining about their internet speeds, their internet service. Things go wrong with internet. It's happened to us. What are some simple troubleshooting tips? Well, the first thing, you're going to want to check where are you? Where are you located? How is this signal, right? Like pull out your cell phone, and if it's on the same provider that your internet provider is, or if you're using your cell phone for internet, look at the bars, right? If you have no bars, guess what? You're not getting internet. Places that tend to have a lot of, that are elevation, like rocky areas, places with a lot of trees, that's going to pose an issue. Like trees and vegetation, they kill cellular service. Now there's other service out there, Starlink, but even that, if you don't have a clear shot of the sky, it's going to be a problem. The second thing we suggest is that, what is your data plan? How much data do you have? A lot of people don't know. How can I say? A lot of phone providers, cellular providers, they say that they have unlimited internet, but it's really not unlimited. It's unlimited that you can use data, but once you hit a certain amount, say 30 gigs, you get throttled. What is throttling? Throttling means that you're still getting data, but instead of getting 200 meg download speeds, you might be crawling to like kilobyte speed, so it's pretty much useless for internet. If all that you check off and it still works, real common thing that you can do is you want to check, for us, we want to check our actual, oh look, the little antenna is off here. We want to check our modem. A lot of times, listen, this guy is running 24/7 all the time. Like when we're parked and we're plugged in, all the time. A simple solution a lot of times is just a reboot, unplug it from the back. How many times have I said, hun, just can you go reboot the router, and it solves a problem. Unplug it, let it reboot, let it do its thing, and often that will resolve your problems. All right, another one that can be really frustrating, you're not getting hot water, or the water is warm, or even worse, it's cold. So we're going to be talking about propane and electric powered systems. If you have a hydronic heating, it's completely different. We're not talking about that in here because the most common is going to be a propane. So the first thing you want to check, do you have enough propane? Again, it sounds really dumb, but that's the first place you're going to want to check. Also, you want to check, not only do you have enough propane, is your valve on? How do I know? Because it's happened to us, right? Make sure your valve is on, make sure that you have enough sufficient propane. Also your regulator. Regulator can be bad. We've had a regulator go bad, you'll smell it. If it's not working properly, it will not let propane go throughout the system. So that is going to be your first place to look. Next, where do you want to look?
Now, obviously we're not talking to people that have hydronic heating. Yeah,
I said no hydronic heating. So the next place you want to look is right over here. There's a bunch of bypass valves in here. You can see right behind our furnace, I'm sorry, not our furnace, our water heater, there's a bunch of bypass valves, and there's bypass valves here. Why do you have bypass valves? Well, that allows for winterizing. When you're winterizing, you want to cut certain things off, whatever. We've done many videos on that. But if the valves are not in the appropriate position, it's not going to allow water to flow through properly. It's not going to allow it to go to the water heater. It's not going to allow it to heat it up. It's not allowed to go through your coach. So you want to check, make sure that they're in the appropriate position. A good idea, guys, before you winterize, take a picture of the position the valves are in if they're not labeled. A lot of times you have those Nautilus systems now that they show you, they're like idiot proof. We really like those. But take a picture. I do it because there's a whole bunch of valves in there, and 6 months later you're not going to know what's going on.
I do want to add one thing. You also have bypass valves under your sink a lot of times, and what happens is people will put things in there like for bags a lot of times, and the bag will catch it and it'll put it in the wrong position. So just be aware of that inside too. In there.
All right, so next thing that we would check and we suggest check, we have a Truma water heater here. Make sure it's on. Always a good idea that it's on. If it's not on, it's obviously not going to work. Very little that goes wrong with these things. They basically just have to be on. Anything else, if it's not working, it's getting sent back to the factory. You're going to want to check for dirty burners in here, correct? And if you have a regular propane, just as being properly maintained, that everything that the propane is going through appropriately, that the connections in the back are on there tight. There's a bunch of different things that you should check.
And also clean, so again, insects and things, they like to nest
Especially
in
on the
there
propane
also.
heaters,
Yep.
yeah, you would definitely want to check that.
So we said in the title that you be your own RV tech, right? This is just a checklist. We didn't go into detail really. A checklist of things to look for to make sure that you might be able to fix this yourself before having to make that call.
How many times have we been on the road, something doesn't work, we don't have hot water, and I go, okay, how are we going to troubleshoot this? And we go, we fix it. And it could be something very simple, but listen, if you call out an RV tech and it's because your propane is off, you're going to feel pretty stupid.
Because you're
paying 150 bucks for a guy to come out or a
Yeah.
woman to come out to turn your valve on.
Right.
That's easy money. I would love to be in a tech and show up something like that. So in the comments below, let us know, what is your checklist? Have you done any of these things on the roads? What are some common problems that you've had on your RV that you've had to troubleshoot? To the left of us, our RV DIYs playlist. We have a lot of videos that go over DIYs, as well as our RV newbies playlists for all the RV newbies out there. And for myself and MJ, we thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you on the road.